What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, we're going to be starting a little two-part mini-series, if it could even be called a mini-series, here on the channel, all about the needs and wants of seed starting. I get asked a lot about things that you need to start seeds, and that's because I think a lot of people, they start out on this journey of seed starting, and they look at all this stuff that's being recommended or stuff that is being touted as a need, right? You need this, you need that. And the problem is there's a lot of things you don't need, and it ends up bogging people down, especially if you're on a budget. If I just need just the bare essentials, that's what I want to get. And then if I have anything left in the budget, then I can start looking at some of the wants. I'm also going to outline just kind of foundational things, right? Any of the things I'm going to mention in this whole little two-part mini series, you do not have to specifically get that exact model, the exact specs, because if you did, we all would be growing exactly the same way. And part about gardening is that not all of us are growing exactly the same way. We don't all have the same type of plants, the same amount of plants, the same style of setup, the same budget. We all come from different points, right? So these are just references to show you what you should be looking out for. And then from there, your research, your homework is to go out and find the things that I'm mentioning that are gonna fit within your budget and your gardening style. The first thing we're gonna start with is a grow light. There's three simple things that you need to focus on with a good grow light. Just three. There's a lot of nuance with grow lights, differences between compact fluorescent and LED and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, you're gonna focus on three things. I have used both compact fluorescent and LED. I've gotten amazing results with both of them. In fact, in our garden, we still use, or in our grow room, we still use, to the side here, I have a 5-tier compact fluorescent grow system. Behind you, I have a 16-bulb compact fluorescent grow system. This Sperry Morse grow light that I've used for years and still works to this very day is compact fluorescent. But above you, I have LED setups. And so I'm using both and I'm getting great results with both. Now, that being said, you want to look for the first thing, which is a flat mount grow light or like a bar style grow light. Do not go with a bulb. I see a lot of people advertising grow light bulbs, like little compact fluorescent twist-in bulbs or LED twist-in bulbs. They can work in certain circumstances, but the way that they project the light is actually spread and dispersed throughout the room rather than projected down directly. The beam angle is less direct. And so the purpose of a grow light is to basically focus as much light as possible on those plants. And so if you're gonna get a grow light, these little T5 bulbs with a reflector, fantastic. It's like a flat mount bulb, right? Or an LED, very flat, they're panels, they focus the light down. So that is the first thing, is making sure the style of light is right. The second thing you need to make sure you do is you get the right Kelvin. I cannot stress this enough. This is one of the most important things. And the Kelvin is the K rating on a bulb. It'll say 4,000 Kelvin, 4,000 K, 5,000 K, 6,000 K. A good grow light that's going to sufficiently grow plants is 6,500 K or higher. The higher the Kelvin, the more blue it gets. And if you go too low on the Kelvin, it gets orange or red. And the orange and red spectrum does not grow plants. Plants need that nice blue light to be able to photosynthesize. You can use shop lights, like basic $40 shop lights. We've used $40 shop lights to grow plants before. But the bulb that you replace it with, you want to replace it with a grow light specific bulb. The next thing and the final thing with grow lights is you want to look at the lumens. The lumens is the amount of light energy the plant or the light is going to give off. The plants uptake light energy, and light energy is basically in the form of lumens. And so the more lumens you have, the more energy you're going to have. And so I prefer to have a light that is no less than 2,000 lumens. Now, the nice thing is you can add lumens together. So this light right here, this Sperry Morse light, just a compact fluorescent, I think 36-inch grow light or so, something like that. This is 2,500 lumens. If I had 4 of them, I would have a total of 10,000 lumens. So you can add lumens together, which is great. You know, if you have more space to cover or you don't feel like you have enough lumens, you can add them together and you're gonna do good that way. So remember, at least 2,000 lumens per bulb, at least 6,500 Kelvin, and make sure that it's a flat mount bulb so that it projects the light downward and not around the room. The next thing you want to get is a fan. I cannot stress the importance of a fan enough. A fan is going to do a couple things. The first thing is it's going to actually dry out the soil if you overwater. So many people think of a fan as a want. You need a fan. This is just a small little oscillating fan. I got at a garage sale for $5 and it's super, this is super sufficient for my setup here, but you just want to put it somewhere where it's going to blow wind over your seedlings because there's no wind indoors. And if you do overwater, that extra wind is going to help it's going to help aid evaporation. It's also going to help, the final thing it's going to help with is strengthening your seedlings. One of the biggest mistakes I see gardeners making is basically taking a weak seedling that has never been acclimated to wind at all and throwing it right outside. That wind, it's so much stronger outside and it ends up snapping seedlings, bending them over, breaking them, killing them, and stuff like that. And you just put so much time into your seedlings that to spend $5, go to a Goodwill, go to a thrift store, go to a garage sale, just get a super duper cheap little oscillating fan. It will make all the difference with strengthening your seedlings. And so those two things are the reason why a fan is so important. The final reason, it's kind of an added benefit, is that a fan can definitely help to reduce things like powdery mildew, blight, and damping off. So those diseases that are spread through extra moisture can also be prevented with a fan as well. So a fan is, in my opinion, a must-have. There's no going around it. The next thing is you need is a good quality seed starting tray. Go with a plastic seed starting tray. I know a lot of people like the soil blockers, and that's great too. But when you're looking at soil blockers, soil blocks, you end up dampening all the soil, you compress them down and you put them into a tray and you make these blocks. The only downside with soil blocks is that they don't last a long time. They're gonna start to break down and to kind of just weather. And so if you're growing things indoors, like tomatoes and peppers 5 to 7 weeks before your last frost date, you're not gonna have enough time to really keep them all in one piece. They're gonna be kind of a mess by the time you're done. And then same thing with things like peat pots and the cow pots and the cocoa pots, those little like plant fiber pots, they are terrible for starting seeds indoors. Do not use them. They're gonna end up molding, they're gonna end up holding onto too much moisture. They are just terrible. They don't end up really totally breaking down by the time you're ready to plant outside. So you end up having to take the pot apart, take off the sides, breaking roots. It is just not ideal. The nice thing with these seed starting trays is that they drain well, they don't hold on to excess moisture, and they come in a variety of different sizes and shapes. So depending on what you're growing, different sizes are gonna fit different needs. We actually have another video coming up later on this week on, or maybe next week even, on different sizes of pots and which one is gonna be the right size for your plant. So these are a must. You gotta have a good seed starting tray. And then the next thing you need is you need some good soil. This is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing about starting seeds, is having a good soil. A lot of people though go out and they think that buying a seed starting mix is going to be ideal. Now seed starting mix, as it's advertised, is going to be fine, but you're going to end up spending a ton of money. What I prefer to do is just get a kitchen sieve or a screen or a mesh, some hardware cloth, whatever I have that can screen down the potting mix. That's what I buy, is potting mix. I screen it down to 1/4 inch. A 1/4 inch is going to give you a very beautiful fine texture, and you're not going to spend an arm and a leg getting it. You can buy a little 6 cubic foot, a quart bag, right? 6 quarts, 4-quart bag for like $6 to $7. I don't want to spend $6 to $7 on 4 quarts of soil. That's insane. I buy a 2 cubic foot bag, which is like, I don't even know how much more. It's tons more soil for the same exact price. And then I just sift it out. I sift out all the chunks and all the debris. and I'm left with this beautiful, soft soil. That's what's so important. You cannot cut any corners, regardless if you make it yourself, you sift it, or you just go buy a seed starting mix. You've got to go with a very beautiful, soft, fluffy mix. And then finally, last but not least, is good quality seed. I don't care where you get your seeds from. MIgardener.com does sell very good quality, very high quality, very affordable seed. And we sell a ton of different varieties, but you don't have to get them from us. I beg you to get a good quality seed, because if you get everything else right, if you get the water, the soil, the fan, the trays, the lights, everything right, but you don't get the seeds right, there's no way you're gonna have a successful garden, because the seeds are what you're growing. That's what you're starting. So start with high quality seed. Do your research, look at reviews, ask other gardeners, and get some good quality seed, because good quality seed that's probably the most important thing to starting seed successfully. And that is everything that you need to start seeds. So we got the seeds, the soil, the containers, a good light, and a fan. Those are the things you need. After that, that's the next episode. Those are the things you can kind of want. They aren't necessary, but they can make your life a little easier. So make sure you stay tuned for that episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you did, make sure to throw a like up there. Subscribe if not yet already. I'll catch you all on the next episode. All right, go big or go home, everyone. Bye.